Let's get some analysis on this with aviation subject matter analyst Fahad Ibne Masood. He's speaking to us from Oman's capital, Muscat. Thanks again for joining us on TRT World. There are reports that there was contact with birds before this crash, a bird strike as it's called. But how would this have affected the hydraulics of the airline and the landing gear of the plane?
The first thing is, it is a probable bird hit. There are a few videos going around in which the bird ingestion has been identified in the right engine. Once again, too early to say, but it can be identified as a probable bird hit. The engines, as we know it, have generated a certain amount of hydraulic power within the hydraulic system of the aircraft. This is accompanied by a few actuators, a few pumps that are incorporated in the system. Both of these generate a certain amount, are required to lower the gears in the process of landing. This is one thing. The other aspect is there is always a possibility of manual gear lowering by the pilots in the aircraft. Yes, it is a bird hit, single engine, the other engine serviceable. It is always probable to survive a single engine bird hit, unlike what happened in the flight 1549 with Sully, both engines getting hit. This was a probable single engine. So manual gear lowering could have been done. The aircraft could have had more time in the air to have a better approach, a more stable, controlled approach, considering its air speeds as well. But disheartening to see the high speed on landing and touchdown without the gears, and subsequently going and hitting a wall at the end of the runway. So black boxes, once again, going to indicate a lot of clarity of how things have happened in the last few minutes of the air crash.
And they have recovered both those black boxes. So Fahad, do you think this is what they will be looking for as they start that investigation? Because as you say, it was really high speed that this plane landed, and then it makes one wonder why they were still going at such high speed on a fairly long runway to then hit a wall.
Correct. So the speeds are of consideration here. Another thing to consider is with a multi-crew cockpit, the pilot and the first officer have to decide how to go about an emergency. Professionals as they are, these flight crew identify and practice these emergencies many times over in simulators. And in this scenario, where we have seen this air crash taking place, the speed could have been a lot more under control if they were doing a belly-up landing. So I don't really identify this challenge to be anything else but high speed. High speed once again is something at landing which requires understanding and manual gear lowering as well. Both question marks on this whole accident taking place.
Yes, still a lot of questions here that need to be answered. Fahad, what do we know about the safety record of Jeju Airlines? Because South Korean aviation generally has a good safety record.
Yeah, so there is nothing to point a finger at, considering the previous few years of flying. This points out once again to the aircraft itself. It's a Boeing 737-800. The incidents which have plagued the organization in the previous few years, and specifically in the previous few months, cannot be left unhindered. We need to look at that facet as well. The Dash 800 is not a MAX aircraft, but it is still a 737 altogether. A lot of investigations taking place in that regard within USA by the FAA as well, and a lot of truths need to come out of how things have been how have been going on in the past. So let's wait and see for the black boxes to incorporate, identify what is the truth in this accident. And sad to say, all other than 2 people, everybody has perished, and scenarios are looking very bleak.
Yeah, and that 737-800 is widely used around the world, about 28,000 passenger planes in service globally right now. So a lot of questions to be asked there. Fahad, Masood, Aviation subject matter analyst, good to get your take. Thank you.